Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is from AITA and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Having My Partner Stay Over a Lot? So, I've been living with a close friend of mine, Emma, for the past year and a half. Roommate, there we go. Both of us are women in our early 20s and rent a 2-bedroom flat. I've been friends with Emma since we were in middle school, and we haven't had any issues living together until now. We're both introverts, but we can enjoy each other's company when we feel like hanging out. At the beginning of July, I started dating a guy, Mac, male, also early 20s. At first, Mac and I would only hang out a couple of times a week, and Mac would usually sleep over at my place. Mac lives with his family, so naturally we preferred my place over his. However, we quickly fell head over heels for each other, and for the past month, maybe a month and a half or so, we've been seeing each other more often. Mac usually comes over Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes Sunday or Thursday as well. Whenever Mac is staying over, I always give Emma a heads up. Emma knew I was really into Mac, and she seemed to be happy for me when we started dating. Also, to note, we have separate bathrooms, so we only share a living room and kitchen. When Mac is over, we tend to stay in my room. The only time we take up common space is when we're cooking. We do like to cook together. Emma never indicated having an issue about Mac being here. She has her own boyfriend of a year who has his own house, so she goes to him, mostly on weekends. Today, I got an angry text from Emma while I was at work. When Max sleeps over, he always leaves with me when I go to work, but last night we got home super late after a concert, and he was sleeping when I got up to go to work. He had today off, so I let him sleep in, and then he couldn't leave until someone was home because I didn't want to leave the front door unlocked. He doesn't have a key. Emma got home a little earlier than usual and thought she was alone until she saw Mac walking from my bathroom to my bedroom. Emma told me that she's tried to be cool because she's happy that I'm in a relationship, but she feels like Mac is always here. She's also annoyed because I've never formally introduced them, and said it's like she basically has been living with a stranger for the past 2 months. I feel bad that I made her feel that way. I didn't mean to make her feel uncomfortable and honestly thought that our arrangement was fine since we're mostly in my room when Mac is over. We're quiet and respectful, and we don't share a bathroom, so it's not like Mac is hogging the bathroom or using up the toilet paper. I'll admit that I've never actually introduced Mac to Emma. He's pretty shy, and I've kind of been waiting for the perfect time. Emma asked me how I'd like it if she had her boyfriend over 3 to 4 nights a week, and now I'm not sure. I sort of get it because I'm also an introvert who likes their space, but it's not like Mac is here 5 to 7 nights a week. Am I the astronaut for having my boyfriend over so often? Yeah, Nelly, never formally introduced them. I'm like, well, yeah, you're a little bit of an asshole for that. For not introducing some, especially if that person is going to be in a situation where they're going to be in your home alone with your roommate. It's kind of a prerequisite would be a formal introduction. Mag, so weird to not have introduced her to a man basically living in her home. Yeah. Emma pays rent, boyfriend doesn't. Is he using any kind of utilities though? I mean, except for that one time when he was there a little bit longer than OP. It's not like he's causing any kind of increase in utility or cost or anything. When you have a roommate, these things need to be discussed prior. And OP does discuss any time he's going to stay. He's just staying more often now. Like what I think Emma, I feel like Emma's situation could easily be just like this, right? Now her boyfriend isn't over all the time because he has his own place. If he didn't, she'd be in the same boat here. Now, being left alone with somebody's boyfriend that you don't even know, that's a problem. That's one of these. That's a red flag. Like, OP, come on. Like, you wouldn't want somebody to doing that to you, and you would feel uncomfortable as well. You should have introduced them early on in this process, probably before he started staying over regularly. You should have introduced them, because if you were sleeping in a house that a stranger was sleeping in, you might feel a little bit uncomfortable too. So maybe for that, I think generally though, if you're dating somebody, there's an assumption that they're going to be over more often. They're not leaving messes. They're not making anybody uncomfortable. It was just this one isolated incident where you let him sleep in, and because of that, he was kind of stuck in the house alone until somebody else got there. And then you didn't even give her a heads up that was happening. That's a problem. That's poor roommate etiquette. I feel like Emma, she only spoke up whenever this one thing happened. Now Emma is kind of acting like it's been a problem before this, and I don't see anything that's a problem before this except for that they haven't been introduced to each other. Other than that, there's no kind of negative that's been placed on her. I don't know though, but even if they haven't been introduced, is it the same kind of situation when he has stayed over all these other times with OP not having been introduced? Ask on 5, only because no introduction. There is no 5. Let's review the scale here for a second. So 4 is you could have done it differently. 3 is you should have done it differently. 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that. And 1 is you're a terrible human. Definitely not an ask on one thing. I do think that this specific instance where she left him there without even giving Emma a heads up that he was going to be there is a definitely shouldn't have done that. Situationally, I'll say ask on 2 here. Generally, for having him over, you guys are sticking to yourself. You're not sticking to yourself. That's not a weird. Sticking to your own areas. That sounds wrong too. You guys are keeping to yourself. You're not making messes. You're not causing her any kind of pain except for you're there. You don't have as many opportunities to hang out with Emma as you did before. And maybe that's the root behind the problem. I don't feel like you did anything wrong except for not introducing him sans this one scenario where you left him there and she had no idea. That is a 2. Prior to this, I think it is a 3. You should have done it differently. You should have introduced him as soon as he started staying the night. So this one instance, yeah, I feel like it's pretty bad. But before that, I feel like it's something you should have done differently. It doesn't mean you're a huge asshole for it. Subeka, Dustyism. What's my Dustyism now? I got a lot of them.
Have a lot.
Trish to ask on 3, I don't think she's a terrible human. I don't think so either. 2 for this situation, though. 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that, because if that had happened to you and some stranger walked out of her bedroom while you were prancing around with a towel on or something, thinking nobody was there, you'd be pretty pissed off too. And it's a definitely shouldn't have done that.